Okay, so today we will have to look at collaboration and co-creation. And depending on how well we are, we will be able to do another model. Because if we do this, we're left with just two to go. If it's a situation where we cannot do all the two, then we have to take the remaining one to the face-to-face class. Your questions have been set, and we will talk about it when we meet for the face-to-face. Right?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So, when we say collaboration, who understand it from the literal perspective? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
They're working together.
Working together. Okay.
Yes.
So if a journalist said somebody and they say, oh, maybe BBC also collaborated with their story. What does it mean?
Sir, please, your line was off. We didn't hear you.
I say in the keep. Can you hear me now, please?
Yes, please.
I say in the media landscape, if we say a media house collaborated, what does it mean?
Sir, I don't know, but your hearing today is quite faint.
It's your network. I don't know whether it's your network.
So we can't really hear your voice.
I'm sure it's the network.
No.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Anthony was speaking, but I couldn't hear anything.
Sir,
but can the rest of the class hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
But your voice is just slow.
It's far away. It's like
your voice is low.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know, probably got to do with the internet. Is it so? Let me see.
Maybe you can rejoin again and see.
Okay.
Yes, please. Yes, he has disconnected. He will join soon.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Is it better
Yes, sir.
now?
Yes, it's better.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that when we say collaboration is about working together, and I said when there is a news item or news and say a media house collaborated with a story, what does it mean?
So I think it means the media house collaborated with maybe anyone, any individual to achieve that particular goal, so that they were able to bring the story out. That's my understanding.
Okay, Lord. Who else?
I'll take it. I'll take it up. Collaborated means they worked together to bring out the story. That's how I understand it.
Okay, who else?
Yes, it could also mean the second media has confirmed the story, that same story.
Exactly. Who spoke last? Is it Anthony, right? Or
William.
oh yeah, William. Sorry, William. Sorry for giving your credit to somebody. As a matter of fact, that's exactly what it is. When we say a media house has collaborated with a story, it doesn't necessarily mean that they work together to come out with a story. Like they confirm the story, kind of. That is what it is. So the reason why I asked that is that, yes, collaboration in our general understanding means that like maybe working together kind of sort, but in language, we know there's something we call general semantics. It means that meaning can be taken from the context, but not always as what it's supposed to be. So contextual meaning are sometimes even more stronger than natural the key definition of the issue as it is. So you have to take note. So today we are looking at collaboration in terms of what co-creation. I explained value co-creation to you that it came from the concept of SD logic, that is service dominant logic. And I said that we need to co-create for us to be able to add value, offer value to the customer. There must be value co-creation. And the concept is that the customer need to be part of the value delivery, the value creation process so that the customer should be able to enjoy. In design thinking, ideas are not solved by a single individual. If the problem exists, then one person decide that he is the only person going to solve it. Yes, you'll be able to solve it all right, but there will be some kind of deficit in terms of being able to solve the problem in totality. That is why the concept of teamwork is very, very important. Teamwork is very, very important in everything that we do. We all know what is going on in the world now. And even the so-called most powerful countries in the world still need assistance somewhere. Without that teamwork, they themselves cannot stand alone and achieve anything. So, like no country is an island. China needs maybe Russia needs China, one way or the other, they meet together. So collaboration is one of the key things. The co-created activities are very, very key. So today we have to look at engaging stakeholders in the design process, facilitating cross-disciplinary teamwork, and leverage collective creativity for innovation. These are the things that we have to look at for today, and we have to come pretty quick. So let's just set the ball rolling. When we say stakeholders, who are stakeholders? Who can tell us? When we say somebody's a stakeholder, what does it mean?
Anybody who has something to do with the subject matter.
Have something to do.
Yes, has a role to play. A role to play.
Have a
Like
role to
interest.
play. Yes, you said like.
Interest.
That is actually the operative word. interest. A stakeholder is somebody who has got interest in the issue at stake. So in organizational circles, when we say stakeholders, their interests can be affected by the organization, or their interests can also affect the organization. That's who stakeholders are. Stakeholders at an undergraduate level, sometimes who are the stakeholders, and people mention only shareholders. Shareholders are a part of a subset within the universal set, which is what the stakeholders. So that is what we need to understand. Their interests, the people who have interest in whatever activity that is being carried on. So we need to engage them. If people have interests, then definitely they must. I want to reschedule my class. If I want to reschedule my class, I need to at least engage the class rep to see how we'll be able to solve that. I cannot just come and say, we are doing class this day. No. Because you have interest and I also have interest. So we have to meet each other halfway. And therefore, that is how the concept works. So you need to engage them. We engage the stakeholders in the design process because they are the key. The stakeholders are not just the one going to use whatever solution that we are bringing, but even those who are financing it, they are also stakeholders, or they have interest. And when this engagement is done, it ensures that the solutions developed are innovative, practical, user-centered, and aligned with what real-world needs. So you engage people, you say, oh, like we come out with fantastic car, fine. But which consumer groups did you engage? And what type of car did they say they want? These are very important questions that need to be answered, because people will ask you, so do you think the customers really want the car? So yes, they want it, fine. How did you know? So looking at the way they are, they will like it. No. That means you are thinking in abstract. You need to engage them. And these are how and why we need to engage them. The first is, who are the stakeholders? They include anyone who is impacted or affected by or has an interest in the design outcome. So they can be end users or customers, they can be employees who are even going to deliver the entire solution. It could be management, it could be planners or suppliers who are going to give us input. Then it could be the community members as well as the regulators, that's government and policymakers. They all of them, depending on the nature of the situation, they are stakeholders. And stakeholders are not all that static. It is dynamic based on the issue at stake. Because let's say MSc digital marketing first cohort is having a fanfare. It is different from maybe soldiers also having a fanfare. The stakeholders will be different. And therefore, we have to be be mindful of that. You have to put it at the back of our mind that as in with a class, then I said the PEST factors or PESTEL. Then as it start with P, political environment. Then I asked the class, so we are operating a restaurant, or I said a chop bar. So how do we what are the key factors we consider? Then the first answer that came into a political environment. I think what can politics got to do with the chopper? All that was trying to say is that it depends on the nature of the business that we want to run. The factors will not be the same. Likewise, when somebody wants to set up a pharmaceutical company, policymakers are very interested in that. Somebody operating a chopper, sometimes people even really don't care. So we cannot behave like a mechanical student because it's a space. We have to find factors for each and every variable within in the quadrant. If it's like that, then we are acting like a mechanical student, and therefore we are not flexible enough. So I want you to understand that. Likewise, stakeholders, if the thing don't belong, like government don't have interest in it, don't say because we say we have regulators, government also want to have interest in that. No, it's not always the case. I want the class to understand that you need to analyze the situation based on the context, but not just say stakeholders are employees, they are managers, they are that, they are that. No, we just have to dig through and see exactly what it is. So the concept is that why do we have to engage them? Yes, who can help us? Why do we have to engage the stakeholders? Hello? Hello?
Hello, sir. Please, we
Hello,
are
sir.
here.
Yeah, why do we have
Okay.
to engage stakeholders? Why?
Because whatever project is intended would affect them in one way or the other. So they need to be aware and position themselves properly, or either contribute or get themselves prepared for the consequences.
So yes, in his design thinking, empathy, insight, when we engage them to help the designers to understand the needs, the pain points, or the, like I said, the challenges and the aspiration of the users. What do they aspire to be? Why we say aspiration is very, very important, especially when it comes to what we call it, like leading people. If it is politics based on the fact that they have to vote for you, then it simply means that there are certain aspirations that and the desire that is connected with their emotions, and therefore they want to vote for you. So when you come and their aspirations are not met and rather become a pain point or a challenge, then they regret actually you being part of them. So engaging the stakeholders will help us to understand their needs, because the one, especially the customers or end users, they are the one we are going to serve, and therefore we need to understand their needs. What are the challenges they face, and what do they aspire to do? It's very, very important. Secondly, it brings about the concept of co-creation. Involving stakeholders encourages collaboration and lead to more creative, feasible, and acceptable solutions. Yes, before we start bringing solution to the problem, we need to consult. That's the empathy stage where we need to consult. And when we consult, people will come in and give a certain perspective about it. There are some things maybe internally, like let's say we want to change our packaging. Then production and marketing has decided, but we have not consulted finance. So to us, this package style is fine. This packaging style is fine, but is it feasible? So till we engage them, we cannot just conclude that, oh, we are going to do it this way and we think that's the best way to go. Is it feasible? Feasibility is the key. Is it sustainable? Sometimes it's feasible, but not sustainable. If it's not sustainable, we need to abandon the exercise. Or probably when we are done, it becomes too expensive, so it affects purchasing power capability. These are the key things that we have to understand with regards to the need to engage. So it will help us to co-create, because there's nothing like the product is good. The functionality of the product and how willing the people are prepared to accept is the key. And when we engage them, there's something we call buy-in. Buy-in simply means that they also supporting whatever we are doing. In service delivery, like let's say GCT want to increase school fees. They cannot sit and arbitrarily increase the fees. They need to engage the student leadership and articulate the reason why they think fees ought to be increased. And they also, sometimes, some of these meetings, it doesn't end just one day, because school fees is sensitive to every student. No matter how rich you are, it is so sensitive. So they can go and also go and consult and come back. And later we arrive at the figure. When it's like that, they themselves were part of the negotiation, and therefore we get it like their acceptance is not a very critical challenge, because we've already been able to convince them, and they also brought their input. So there's the buy-in support is there, and that will help us in achieving that. So in design thinking, yes, when we consult stakeholders, give us a buy-in. And it's also better risk management, because it will help identify potential issues. When you meet the stakeholders, they can tell you what are the key things that could happen, that could create a problem. And because of that, it makes it easy for us to manage the risks involved. Because else, you might be thinking that, oh, it is good, but maybe they will tell you something that you have never thought of. And it helps you to mitigate that risk very well. Then iterative improvement. Once we get the stakeholder feedback, it will inform rapid prototyping and also continuous refinement to get the actual kind of product that is needed in terms of what the solution. So when are we supposed to engage the stakeholders? At every stage in design thinking, we need them. So empathy stage, define stage, ideate, prototype, and test, all of them, we need them. And what are the things that we have to do with regards to that? So one, at the empathy stage, we interview people, we observe them, and we survey them. And during the define stage, they help us to clarify the needs, and we also co-define the problem. So once we are seeing the problem from just one angle, they can also bring different perspectives, and that will help us to really, really know that this is the actual problem. Then at the ideation stage, participating in brainstorming session is very, very important. We want to solve the problem, so brainstorming becomes one of the key drivers. We need to brainstorm and know which best solution should be. Then prototype engagement will help us get the input on early design. So they are also talking, all the stakeholders are talking there. Therefore, once we engage them, it will help us to get the input with the early designs. And third stage is what? Providing feedback on the prototypes. So at that stage, we've done the low fidelity and high fidelity. Based on that, we send it, we get a feedback, and now the prototype is actually developed. So that is why we need them, and at what stage we have it. Then what are the methods involved for this engagement, the stakeholder engagement? It could be a workshop or co-creation sessions where we invite them, we show them the product, we talk about it. We can also organize a workshop, and that is how we engage stakeholders. One example I can give is we have instances like there was a project that we did where we need to name a particular product. And what we did was we travel around. We conducted what we call focus group discussion. The product was shown to the panel members or the group. We had a lot of discussion. Names were given, like the names that we have, we extracted names from them. They give us all sorts of names. We discussed the names one after the other and the brain behind the name. Then we narrow it down to about 4 of them. Then after that, I and the team have to travel with questionnaire, with the product. So we give the product to you and we say, okay, these are the list of the names. Which one do you think the product ought to be called? This is part of what the stakeholder engagement. In product naming, we call it the deep stake. In advertising, the deep stake. What we were trying to do is that we're trying to get a name that is popular with our target market. So we're not just giving the products and the naming to just any Ghanaian. No. People who are extreme stakeholders within that particular industry were the ones that we consulted. So I remember I was in, we traveled so many places, urban villages and all those things to just get it done. Especially central region, we went to quite a couple of places. Then from there, you pick your name, then you pick a tagline associated with it, or what from the layman perspective, they say slogan. So like MTN say everywhere you go. So we mentioned the name of the product and say, okay, this tagline, which one do you think will fit? And it was just fantastic job. When we did the report, we realized that yes, there was one particular name that even at that level when we were doing the focus group was less popular, but that one actually became the one that and focus group discussion are there. We survey. With this particular one, we did a focus group, then we went ahead to do a survey. So the survey will help us to reaffirm whatever the focus group said, because remember, the product is a mass market product, and therefore we cannot just put maybe 15 or 25 people in a hall for them to deliberate on it, then we end up giving the name. No, we needed to consult widely. So yes, the names were there. Like I gave you an example. When we were out there, even the name that they think is stronger wasn't the one that people were talking about. So it is always at the workplace, the same thing. The manager needs to engage. If you don't engage, all the work is in your head and nobody wants to work with you. Where we look at how many people, the prototyping section to we they can use the product, then they give us feedback. And based on that, the feedback loop and iterative testing will go on. So it is in circle. We always need to engage. The bottom line here is engage, and how do we engage? This also, let the class be aware that it depends on the situation. Don't say open your slides, you have to do a workshop after that, you have to come and do interviews and focus group. No, that is not the case. Look at the situation from the context and pick the one, because there's nothing like this one is better than the other. No. It's just a matter of which one will you get the results that is needed. That's all. So in best practices, what do we say? We say involve a diverse group of stakeholders for broader perspective. Use active listening and avoid assumptions. This is very important. You have to what? Avoid assumptions. Oh, I assume that they will buy the product. No. I assume that they will not like this color. No. You need to what? Engage them. Don't just use common sense ideas. No. And I say use active listening. Listening is very, very key in everything that we do. Because like I said, if God wants us to talk more than to listen, he should have given us what? 2 mouths and 1 ear. But once God has given us 2 ears, simply means that we need to listen more than we have to talk. And that is how it is. Then be transparent about how their input influences the process. That is why in some cases, it is not you who is supposed to do that consultation, but get an independent party who have nothing to do with them and have nothing to do with you, so that he can objectively engage and give you the proper feedback that is needed. So based on that, you set clear roles and expectations as to the process involved, then ensure continuous engagement, not just what one-time consultation. Every time you engage people, don't say, oh, we finish engaging with them and therefore we start on. We have nothing to do with them again. No, you need to always be around, like it's a continuous process, because remember, if the human beings that you are dealing with, human behavior is very dynamic and it keeps on changing. It is not static. And even now, it is even more complex because of advance of technology. There are quite a lot of people who are more clever than before. And so they keep on changing their opinion about issues. So don't let it be static, like as if that is what it's supposed to be. So basically, that's what stakeholder involvement is. It is. And we know who the stakeholders are. We know what we have to do during each stage of what the process. And that is what I want the class to understand. Then now, facilitating cross-disciplinary teamwork. When we say cross-discipline, finance is involved, marketing is involved, HR is involved. Maybe if the product is base of the pyramid product, then we have to get maybe some market women and other things to join the group, because we need to facilitate that cross kind of section, bring perspective so that we are able to plug all the holes before we go to the market. So the cross-disciplinary teamwork is essential in design thinking because it brings together diverse perspectives, different ideas. So diverse perspective, diverse skills and experiences that lead to more creative and user-centered solutions. It is not one person doing what we call an ivory tower kind of approach, where you sit in the office that you say, oh, you've been able to craft a document and that document is okay, and people, that concept ought to be implemented and people will like it. No, you need to consult. Because if you don't consult widely, you can find yourself in a mess. Like what is happening now to the US in the Middle East. Because there was no broader consultation, they thought that, oh, we can go in there, hit the people by bombs, and within 1 week, they start begging us. Because you didn't consult, or maybe you consulted but you didn't listen. Now you are in there and you don't know what to do. Because left with America, they didn't plan to go to war and be there up to today. They wanted to just show the people, like, let's give them a lesson, then we walk away and we are superpower. Now, how to end the war? Now, starting the war was easy, but how to end it it's a problem. But if there have been broader consultation, some of these things will have been avoided. You see, so That is how it is. You don't say, oh, we are the marketers, so we understand the customers, and therefore the product, we have to decide. Have we spoken to production to know the difficulty involved in producing that particular version of the product? It is very, very important. Like we want to, let me use one example, marketing. We want sales promotion. We cannot just wake up one day and say, buy one, get one free, without consulting the other departments. One, let's say HR. For HR, what does buy one, get one free means? Probably we need more workforce in order to be able to meet the demand. So you can say, oh, we are running promotion, but what does the HR want to do with it? When production tells you that they need so number of people, it's HR that has to facilitate that. They are not the people going to recruit anybody. So cross teamwork is very, very important. Likewise, production. We have launched, we started running adverts, buy one, get one free, but we have not consulted what? Production, the production department or unit. Maybe per their capacity, they produce 1,000 units of the product a week. Now, you are saying buy one, get one free. That simply means that they need extra 500 to be added, because for every one that has to leave, there must be what additional one getting it. So you say, let's say, buy two, get one free. So when two of the product is gone, there must be additional one making three. So like I said, if you buy two, get one free, you produce 1,000 units, you need additional 500, that is for free. And if you don't do that, what will happen is that now the same 1,000 units production has done, by Wednesday, the product is finished. And now you are also running advert. They don't even get the one that they are paying for to even buy, not alone to get the one that is supposed to be the promotional kind of package. So always we need to collaborate. It is very, very important. And when you become, those of you who are bosses already and those who aspire to be bosses, when even something that is of low-hanging fruit, still consult. Because consultation brings people together and help them in addressing the issue. So cross-team, what is a cross-disciplinary teamwork? It involves professionals from different fields. Example, marketing, engineering, design, business, IT, working collaboratively towards a common goal. We are coming out with a new version of a laptop, and therefore we are coming all together with everybody's expertise in order to be able to get that. In design thinking, the diversity fuels innovation. More people are coming up from different backgrounds to help we achieving innovative approach. Why does it matter? What it gives us, like I said, diverse perspective, shared knowledge also, because we are sharing knowledge about like how the product ought to be even be delivered. The collaborative innovation is also there. Faster and more effective solution development, because we are many with different backgrounds. And also it reduces silos. When we say silo, brings down communication barriers between what departments. Because certain departments, they don't talk to, like, they are not interested in whatever is going on in other departments. They think that they are so powerful and therefore they ought to be allowed to operate. That is how the whole issue is. But we need to understand that we need them, people from different backgrounds, so that we'll be able to achieve our objective. Remember, we are not trying to work to please ourselves, but to solve a solution, which is one of the key things in every design process. So how to facilitate cross-disciplinary teamwork? Create a shared vision. We have to be in common. Clearly define the problem, goal, and also user needs. They have to make sure that we align the team members around the user-centered mindset. So based on what they used, based on our empathy stage, the way we are able to get information from the users, we are now coming to form a team because the problem has already been defined clearly. These are based on education and respect for all ideas. This is very, very important. There are some people, they think they are like they know it all. There are people, that's what they think. They think they know it all. So they want to drive the whole process, but no, you have to allow people to communicate. And you have to embrace psychological safety. So everyone feels comfortable and contribute. It is very, very important. Then the personas, journey maps, and empathy maps to align understanding. We've already spoken about personas, who is goal-oriented, who is more or less negative, motivated. All these are roles that we can give to people in order for them to think different way. Then we talk about the crazy eight, how might we, and what the scamper for the ideas. These ones we've already tackled about it. We know the crazy eight, we know the scamper as an acronym, and also rapid prototyping for quick collaboration and feedback. So these are the key things that we have to do when we want to manage cross-disciplinary teams. So as we move to, like, we use is to do what? Let each member contribute. Like you put everything on yourself till you hit the brick wall. Then you come back and say, can you help? It's teamwork. Say that I will give you that. Even when you go for an interview, there are instances where they ask, do you really believe in, are you a team member or are you a team player? Yeah, that's the word, the phrase they normally use, or the question they ask, are you a team player? The answer shouldn't be yes or no, like as an interview team. You say, yes, you believe in teamwork, but you have also self-discipline to actually work alone. That is the best answer to give in such interview scenario, because you want the situation where they know that you have self-discipline to actually complete a task on your own. But at the same time, you also don't mind because you are flexible enough to work in a team. So that is how we look at it. Then teams are very, very important. When we say use T-shaped teams, deep expertise in one area plus broad knowledge across board. So you have people at the top, then we have broad knowledge across board, and that will help you in achieving that. Then we use collaboration tools like Figma, Trello, and all those things. Like I said, when it comes to software, they keep on coming in. So depending on whatever you are doing, once you search, you'll be able to get that bar. The reason why, for the purpose of this class, I will say, I just want you to know that there are tools that are there to let you run the team, because this is just a software, just like the Zoom we are using. It's part of a teamwork software, because if we set up a Zoom meeting and each and everyone sitting somewhere can also join, it is part of what? Management of our teams. So you encourage iteration and feedback, then promote continuous prototyping and testing. Involve all disciplines in what? Evaluating the user feedback. Don't just be that you don't understand it. No, you have to get that user feedback. It is very, very important. So what are the best practices? Set ground rules. When you want to work, like do collaboration, there must be rules. You don't go there and say, so who is going to do this? Who is going to do that? You, the one leading, need to make sure that everything is on paper. Your plan and everything, the structure is there before you start engaging the people. Then, like every project, it is very complex. So you have to craft the project in such a way that you celebrate with small wins. That is why even politicians, they will tell you, this project is 20% complete, this is 40% complete. What are they saying that? They are saying that because it gives them like, we are winning in terms of the job that we are executing. That is how the whole thing is. Then sometimes you need to rotate the roles or tasks occasionally to build empathy across disciplines. Well, yeah, there are some people, they see you there and they think you don't do anything, especially when it comes to factory work. All the factory workers think that the management there are cheat, they don't do anything, they are the one doing the hard work. So in some cases, you say, okay, fine, why don't you be the manager for 1 week and let's see how it goes? Then maybe they will appreciate the things that you do. Because unlike him, who will work hard and go home, and as soon as he get home, shower, then straight away jump in bed and start sleeping. The manager don't do that. But the manager is thinking about where your next pay will come from. So even though he is at home, like he's going home like you, he's still thinking. And there's nothing hard than thinking. Thinking all the time is a problem. This all the work is like difficult work. It will make you stronger. But thinking can break you down. So when you rotate the roles, they will realize that, oh, not like the marketing people always want money for advertising and product awareness creation, but their job is more than that. And therefore, we as finance people, we need to sympathize with them. Because once they go on the field, we are just here. So rotations are very, very important. And you as a facilitator, you have to provide a neutral kind of approach. Like your facilitation ought to be neutral to guide sessions and what resolve conflict. When you take a stand, like I always say, serious managers don't take stand on matters. You need to look back and allow the functions to deal with it. Stay neutral. When you are neutral and you try to arbitrate the whole issue, you are welcome. But as soon as you take sides, no, you've already compromised yourself, and therefore, no matter how big you are, no matter how genuine your issue is, it is still the other party feel that you have preconceived idea because you belong to the other camp. That is how it is. Then leveraging collaborative creativity for innovation. What are we talking about regards to that? We leverage collective creativity in the form of what? It is at the heart of what? Innovation. It means what? Harnessing the ideas, perspectives, experiences of diverse group to spark fresh user-centered solution. What has been Anthony's problem? What about Eric? What about Williams? What about Ken? What about Fafa? What about Sefako? All these ones need to come in because each and every one may have a diverse opinion as to what the issues are. And one is like that. It becomes what? More like inclusive in terms of what we being able to come out with the solutions that are needed. Because if not, it is like you alone doing your own thing and doesn't help in anything. So what is collective creativity? It involves that creativity refers to the process where teams co-create ideas. We are all coming together to create the idea, build on each other's input, and collaboratively solve the problem. So it is not like one person. It's just like a football team. That is what it is. We need to collaborate in order to achieve the gains. When I was doing my MBA, I remember one of our strategic management class, the lecturer used some synopsis from Manchester United Football Club. He was talking about Alex Ferguson and what he used to do that made the team more successful. And one of the synopsis that was given to us from their business model was especially the actual playing body, because you know football team, a serious football team is made up of a lot of departments. The media, the what we call it, medicals, stakeholder engagement, and all those things, cleaners, all those, we have quite a lot of them. So for the players, he said, individual talent, that was the statement, individual talent without a sense of collective unity is useless. That was Alex Ferguson's perspective. That was when David Beckham and co were there. So he said, the individual talent without a sense of collective purpose is useless. Why was he saying that? Yes, you can be the best player, but football is not played by one player. So we need that sense of what collective, what sense of purpose. Our purpose is to win. And therefore, we, the 11 players that we find ourselves in the team, need to have what? A sense of collective purpose. All of us need to get towards one particular goal, and that is what? To win the match. So it's the same thing. If we want creativity, you don't say you are a super person than the other. No. Bring everybody on board based on the things that are available or the issue at stake, and you'll be able to solve problems easily. And design thinking, this is a crucial for what? Innovating beyond what? The obvious. You want ideas. And the best way to get ideas is to make sure that you are able to achieve whatever is needed. Any question, please? Do you have any question, please? Do you understand it, please?
Yes,
Hello?
Yes,
we really understand.
Okay. Thank
yes,
you.
so please, I have a question.
Okay. Yes, I
So,
see here.
yes, when these stakeholders come together to brainstorm, so to speak, in order to co-create or engage in collective creativity,
Okay.
who takes the final decision? Is it the manager, or how is it handled? Because everybody is bringing ideas on board, but at the end of it, who takes the final decision?
It depends. The reason I'm saying it depends is that, one, there are certain ideas, right? Like I was talking about the dipstick that we did, right? With a dipstick, we have come up with some names, and we think one name is stronger. But when we went to the field, we realized that one particular name was the one that is more like frequent than the others. That one is speak by itself because that is the popular kind of thing, right? So it go on like that. Williams, are you understanding me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then in certain instances, we have created the idea, but then somebody needs to take a decision. Let me give you one, not about product marketing, not about anything, but let's talk about the killing of Osama bin Laden. American goal was what? To have a creative way to kill somebody who said they are the number one enemy. When they work around the clock for years to actually identify the particular household that he find himself living in Pakistan, it was pretty obvious that that's where Osama bin Laden live. With family and all those things, they are there. Now, the surveillance team have been able to get that. They send it to authorities, then they have to brief the president. They did all the checks and they were sitting down, looking at all the permutations and other things. Now, they are going to more or less attack somebody in a sovereign country, which they don't have permission for that. So they need to call Attorney General to come in. That's the collaboration that I'm talking about. Joint Chief of Staff are there, everybody's there. Now they need legal advice. Then after that, they phrased that they told Obama that, look, now we are done. The man is there. This is our target. Now the ball is in your court. So do you know what Obama did? He left all of them and went to sleep. Came back at dawn and said, attack the building. So that one, the final decision rests on the president. So it is, like I said, it is a dynamic kind of situation. It is not a static kind of approach. Depend on whatever the situation is. The answer need to come. Either one person need to take the final decision, but the final decision that you take doesn't mean that you are just the boss. You have a lot of what we call input variable. They gave you all the scenarios, and therefore you have to pick one. That doesn't mean that you are a superhero or whatever, but because at the end of the day, it's about collective interest. And each and every one who come out with idea will tell you the pros and cons of the ideas. Do you understand it, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So why is it important in design thinking when it comes to leveraging collective creativity? More ideas, better solutions. The more we get ideas, the better the solutions. Diverse mind generates wider range of what ideas. Faster innovation, collaboration accelerates the ideation and prototyping process. Then also increase ownership. All of us were part of it, so all of us, oh, this is our baby. So we all need to protect the baby. That is very, very important in management. You need to consult, and when you consult your subordinates, they think that they are part of that decision and therefore they work hard for you to achieve whatever you want to achieve. Then user-centric focus. Teams' input help to keep ideas grounded in real user needs, and that is what is needed for that. And how to leverage that collective creativity. Create an open environment. Don't have what we call hostile environment. Encourage non-judgmental brainstorming kind of approach. You don't say this is you, so no. Make it safe for wild ideas. You need ideas. So let them, no matter how bad ideas is, so allow them. They often lead to what? Breakthroughs, wild ideas. Some of the ideas doesn't make sense, but at the end of the day, probably that will be the one that helps solve the problem. Then use creative or collaborative tools, like I said. Things that silent ideas generate, followed by maybe group discussions. You can say, okay, each and every one should like write the idea and go and stick it on the board. When we pick it, we can pick the one that are coming to them. We start discussing. The scamper, you know what is it? Prompts what modify existing ideas, and crazy 8 rapid sketching of 8 ideas in 8 minutes. Very, very important. Then you build on each other's ideas. Use the yes and technique to what? Encourage collaboration instead of what? Shutting ideas down. So you don't shut the idea down, but, oh, okay, yes. And what can you think we can add to it? So that you encourage them to talk more and to help you. Then also combine and mix ideas during what? Ideation sessions in order to get the best out of it. And involve stakeholders and users. We all know what the stakeholders. Invite external voices into the creative process for fresh insights. Co-create with users, not just what for them. You are creating with them, but you are not creating for them alone. Need to work together with them. Then prototype and test is the key. Test early turns into what? quick prototypes to get feedback and refine, treat failure as what fuel for creativity, not as a setback. You need to understand that. Then based on that, roles that support collective creativity are facilitator, like I said, independent person. The facilitator guides the process and ensure balanced participation. Scribe or maybe visualizers, they capture or they write and visualize the ideas. The challenges are push them to think deeper, differently. Then help shape and refine the rough ideas. So these are the rules that we have facilitated, we have scribed, we have challenges, and we have optimizers. All these are different people of expertise and help us in achieving that. So in a nutshell, mix team members with what varied backgrounds so that you can get varied opinion, both in individual contribution and group wins. And also you have to keep the session fun and energetic. Creativity thrives in playful environment. So don't say we are so serious. There are some people, especially those who want to impress everybody. They small thing that they are doing and the way they will make their face, like as if the whole world is coming to an end. You are serious for what? Relax. Because when you relax, the ideas will come more than when you try to behave like as if you are the key person within that framework. Do we understand it, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. So this is the concept of collaboration, which is needed in order to be able to bring out the best ideas so far. It is something that cannot be taken for granted, and therefore we always need to understand that. Okay, so measuring and evaluating customer experience. This is something that is more or less a conversation. we will not go through the slide like what we've done previously, but we need to speak around it. I want everybody to talk because we need to say something, especially the ladies. The ladies have been quiet, or we don't have ladies in the class, apart from Fafa.
Sir, we do.
So why are they not talking?
Rachel, are you there?
Amina says you say something.
They say if you see something, say something. Rachel.
Rachel. Then we have Rachel.
Sefako is also there.
We have Sefako. Yes.
Or they normally log on and go to sleep.
No, they are mostly online.
No, it's not. We can be online, but
So we are not asleep. It's just that sometimes our background is very noisy. That's why.
your background.
As you can hear.
Therefore, this one, are you speaking on behalf of the ladies or for yourself?
Yes, all of us. In the morning, you heard Rachel's Zoom too.
Yeah, because you see the Zoom class, Zoom class is even the easiest class you ever have. But that one, nobody's even looking at your face. You can say whatever you want to say. You know, when we are collecting data on a very sensitive information, sensitive area, we don't normally do face-to-face. For the face-to-face, we let people keep their ideas. But when we give them like a remote platform, they are able to express it. Marketers, we talk, so you have to talk. If you are not talking, you are always a quiet person, but I don't see in this modern world we find ourselves, I don't see why you have to be quiet. You need to at least say something. So let me quickly, let's quickly run through this, measuring and evaluating customer experience. What is customer experience? What is customer experience? Or anybody can speak, please. Or none of us are customers, eh?
Hello, sir.
Yes, Anthony.
Yes. So, when we say customer experience, is the process that the customers go through when they are getting service, okay, or when they are buying something, or maybe
Okay.
after the purchase also, the experience that they go through. So, that brought about customer experience. Thank you.
Okay. And we all know that it could be negative or it could be positive, right?
Yes, sir. It could be negative or positive.
Okay. So what is a positive customer experience? And one person should also pick about what's a negative customer experience.
So let me talk.
Okay.
Okay, so customer experience is like the feeling or what you experience after, I'm using the word again. So what you feel after interacting with a brand. So
Okay.
for instance, if I use MTN and I'm in a place where the network is very good, I'll have a very good experience because I don't have to be roaming about looking for network searching before I can make a good call. So that is a positive experience I'll feel as a customer. Thank you.
Okay. So my question is, what is a negative experience and what is a positive experience?
A negative experience when the customer is dissatisfied about a brand or a product, or maybe the customer is frustrated, that's a negative experience. Or maybe when the
Okay.
customer is happy about a product or a company, that is a positive one. Thank you, sir.
That's good. Thank you, Lord. Thank you very much. So the experience ought to be measured. That is why we say we need to have what the CX in design thinking help the teams to track how well the solution will meet their needs. And the metrics ensure that innovations help that innovations are user-centered, and we can be able to measure. Once we set objective, we should be able to measure it. So why the metrics is important in design thinking? The experience will help us to validate the solution and delivering real value to the customer, because like I said, it's the customer that we need to serve, and therefore we have to look at it from that perspective, that are we delivering the value? Because I said in marketing, we don't sell product and service anymore, but we offer value to the customer. And it will also help us for the improvements of the product, because we are measuring if there's customer dissatisfaction, we will know, then we see the areas that they are dissatisfied, then we try to improve it. And also, it will help us to align with the team effort with the business goals and user satisfaction. And also, it provides evidence to stakeholders for decision making. So that is why we need to measure. The metrics are very, very important. So what are the metrics? One is customer satisfaction rate. We need to know how satisfied are the customers. The net promoter score, what it measures is the likelihood of what the consumer recommending our product for somebody. That's what we call the NPS, net promoter score. The customer, is the customer likely to recommend our product to somebody else? That is another metric that we can use. So how likely are you to recommend us to a friend or a colleague on the scale of 0 to 10, with 10 being the highest? So if you get like you are getting about 7, 6, 8 thereabout, then you know you are not doing bad. But if you are having 1, 2, then it's a sign for you to worry. So that is how it is. The customer effort score, it measures how easy it is for the customer to accomplish a task. We develop an app. We have given the app to customers to use. Now we go and ask them, when you use the app, were you able to complete the task? Like maybe navigate your way through from selecting the product to paying for it, and also ordering it and all those things. Like, were you able to complete the task? For some, it becomes so complex that there's a drop-off where people decide to, let me abandon the website. When they abandon it, that means the customer effort score is very low. Or user retention rate, how many people are we retaining them? They bought our products, and are they coming again? So users at the end of the period minus the new users will tell us over the users at the start of the period will give us the user retention rate. So how many users at the end of the period, and how many also new users we got, and when we started, how many do we have? It helps us to achieve that. Then task success rate. How often users can successfully complete the task? One is the effort, the other one is the task itself. We are going to use the app to book an airline. That is the task. How many are able to do that? So hashtag for the number of successful attempts that we have. When we start, are we able to complete it? It's very, very important. The time on the task. Did we see, like when we're doing our online application for GCT, like how many time did we spend online in trying to fill the form and all those things? It is very, very important. If it takes too long a time, it becomes a bit of a problem. So you have to align the metrics with the design thinking stages like empathy, net promoter score, and other as a baseline. Then we use also customer effort as well, then internal feedback that we get from the prototype. Then we have the task success rate and time on the task and the test also. We use net promoter score and all those things to be able to achieve that. So these are just metrics that we can use in measuring the effort that we are putting in place. So with the best practice, we combine quantitative, that is a net promoter score, retention, and qualitative, that interviews and other, how we are faring. Then regularly track and compare metrics to see the progress. And we have to make sure to adapt the metrics to for the solution. The metrics are not static. We can modify it to become what we modify the metrics because it's not a static kind of form, iteration, and reframe the problem. So these are the critical things that we have to understand with regards to the best practice. Then they say collecting and analyzing user feedback. This one, how do we collect user feedback? This is very, very important. Like this is very straightforward. Why user feedback matters in design thinking, that one we already know. So we don't have to spend time about why do we think user feedback matter. Because from day one, from empathy, we've been talking about this for a very long time. So what are the methods? The methods also have been done because we talk about qualitative, quantitative, and also focus group discussions and all those things in the observation are part of the collecting the feedback. So user interviews, surveys, and questionnaire, like we said. Then usability testing, how many people watching users interact with what the prototype or during the test market stage is that it is best for observing how easy and intuitive a solution is. The feedback form, we can give them feedback form to also fill for us to know how they are feeling about how they feel about our product. Observational studies, like I said, we are not talking to anybody, but we are observing them to see what it is. Then social listening and reviews. That is here is what I have to do much about it. Observational studies, but social listening is monitoring what users say on social media or review platforms. That's what we call social listening. The people are making some comments based on the usage of the product. So we can go online. That's why some companies, what they do is that they make sure they provide a window for review. Review is after interacting with our brand, what do you say? So they will go there and write without putting their names. They will write for you to know how they feel about your product. It is very, very important. Sometimes it is painful, the things they write there, but you have to accept it in good faith because that is the only way it can help you to improve. If we take it for granted, remember, the marketing literature tells us that it takes 4 times, it is 4 times cheaper to maintain an existing customer than to get a new one. So getting a new one is about 4 times expensive. So whoever we have as a customer, we need to work around the clock to retain the customer. They say it is very good, but how do we do it? We need to analyze the data. So how to analyze the feedback? We use data, we analyze the data to know how many people are saying our product doesn't taste well, or how many people are saying the price is expensive and all those things. Simple quantitative study will give us that 20% simple percentages, 20%, 40% said this, that we can do that. Then we can also identify patterns and challenges that they go through, like what is happening now. ECG is being bashed left, right, center because of what? The way the power prices are. And that become a trend. So I was not surprised when they say with effective 1st April, they are going to reduce its electricity tariff by 4%. Why? Because they are looking at patterns in terms of complaint, and therefore you need to work around it to get it resolved. Then quantify where possible, track how many users face specific issue. Like ECG example is what I can give. Almost everybody is talking about the tariffs being expensive. And they say the meter is whatever it is. The bottom line is that prices has been increased by almost about 28% over the period. And that's what we are feeling. Nobody has come to our homes to come and adjust our meters, but it's the increment that is creating that. So we need to get the feedback, which is very, very important. Then inform iteration, feed insight directly into the next defined ideate and prototype phase. Once you get the feedback, the data that you analyze, either interview, survey, or whatever, you have to put all of them together and use it to improve the next stage. Then prioritize based on what? Impact and feasibility. It's not everything that you have to respond to, but the one that its impact is very high, you need to work to get it resolved properly. So based on that, with the best practice, it involve users early and often, not just during the testing stage. You have to involve them. And like I said, ask right questions. Having answers is easy, but asking the right questions is difficult. So right questions that you ask will give you a better standing in terms of how you'll be able to provide a solution. And based on that, you use qualitative and quantitative. One, quantitative deal with numbers, numeracy, whilst qualitative bring about more insight. So when you combine, you can get a rich information about how to do things differently. Then be transparent. Show users how their feedback lead to changes, and always test assumptions, not just features. If people say they assume that this is what will be done, that's not the case. Then they say iterating based on data-driven insight. What is iteration in design thinking? It's the process of repeatedly refining and improving a solution based on the feedback that you get. So we send the product, people give us feedback, we use it to improve, we send it, they will continue to send the feedback and continue to respond to it till we reach the peak where we know that our product is near perfect. There's nothing like 100% perfect thing in the world, but if it is near perfect, yes, we take it like that, then we go with it. So in design thinking, iteration is continuous, not a one-time step solution. It ought to be a continuous process. That's why they say the continual loop. The loop is that you go back and forth and you'll be able to achieve whatever is needed. So what are the data-driven insights? Is actually, it comes from what? Analyzing user feedback. So it's just data, behavior and performance metrics to understand what's working and what is not. So what is working, you improve upon it. What is not, you change it. And why iterating based, why do we have to do that based on data? To ensure changes are grounded in real user needs, not just your kind of wishes, but the data will help you to do that. Improve functionality, usability, and experience. Prevent investing time in features or ideas that don't work. So when you have data, it helps you. It leads to better outcome through evidence base. And what are the sources of data iteration? User testing results, survey feedback, analytic tools, customer support logs that we get and A/B testing. These are not new to you. You just need to just read around it. And the last thing that we'll talk about is steps to iterate based on data-driven insight. First, we need to collect the data. We analyze the data, then we generate hypotheses. Like, what changes might solve this problem? So if we ask what changes might solve this problem, for example, if we simplify the checkout process, users might complete purchases faster. So simplified checkout process positively influence faster user purchases. That's a hypothesis. So we test and see whether we are able to achieve that. Then you redesign or refine based on your feedback, make changes to the design based on what the hypothesis that you came up with and the actual outcome. You test again. So retest with user to validate the improvement that has come. They should use it and see whether it's working. Then you have to repeat the cycle because the feedback, so you repeat it as we move on. And with the best practice, you prioritize changes based on the impact and feasibility. You need to also involve the whole team in analyzing the data and ideating improvements. Then use a mix of qualitative and quantitative data. Track and document iteration to show progress over time, and always test assumptions. Don't just face assumptions, test it and see whether it will work or it will not work. Any questions, please? Hello?
No, sir.
Hello?
No.
Okay, if you have no question, then they say next week is our face-to-face class, right?
Yes, sir. Face to face.
Yeah, so,
A small question.
okay.
Is it always mandatory for you to use surveys plus focus group interviews when you are doing design thinking?
Is it always?
Is it mandatory that you use both? Is it mandatory that you use both qualitative and then quantitative method when you are going through the process?
It depends.
Oh, okay. We've got our answer, right? It depends, yes. It's not mandatory. It depends on the situation. There are some, the qualitative, the survey alone, because maybe it is something that you've done, like people have done several times, so you just need to survey and the survey is okay. All right? But in some cases, you need both in order to be able to achieve the result that is like solve the problem. Is that okay?
All right, that's okay. Thank you.
Any other question? Okay, so like it's been a long day for you. Well, you people need to rest. So let's end here for today. And God willing, or we say inshallah.
Okay.
Bro,
Inshallah.
please, when are we submitting the assignment?
Yes.
Yeah, the assignment.
You see,
is it done? Yes.
You
Sir,
know,
we are on it.
students.
I will send.
We said we are all done.
Okay. Okay, you submit it. Hello. You have to submit it on Friday. You have to submit it on Friday by close of day.
Using the LMS.
No, I think we have to. Because I will not mark on the LMS.
Okay.
So what I will do is I'll send Kenneth the email address that you have to send to. No, send everything to Kenneth.
Forward to him.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, bro.
everything to him. so that I'll have a single zip file for it.
Okay, sir. All right.
That would be better. I'll see, if we are sending it one after the other, sometimes I might overlook some of you. So
okay, sir.
send everything to him. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much and have a lovely weekend.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Lord, see you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yo.
Lord, bye-bye. Go and enjoy yourself, man.
Oura.
Yes.
Hey. I need your help. I was chatting you privately, so let's continue with it.
Mawang, me
grinding MC.
Yes.
Mawang, nobody should chat me privately because I'm also enjoying my weekend. Bye-bye.
I won't mind you. I will chat you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, I'm coming.